The big question is this: can you trademark a series on Amazon KDP? Can you trademark a book? We're going to dive into that today, and we're going to answer some questions that you've been having. After publishing 500 books on Amazon and selling over 300,000 in sales, I'm about to cross 100K. I have worked with a trademark attorney. He's going to come on this channel, but until then, I want to answer the things that I've learned over the past 2 years of publishing trademark searches and all that jazz. So let's dive into it. I have questions written down, and the first question is, can you actually trademark a book? People ask that all the time, and there's a little bit of confusion, so let's talk about the difference. The first thing to remember is that you cannot trademark a title. So that's why you see people use other people's titles in their books, because you cannot trademark it. Now, there is a little caveat here that helps you to understand where you can actually be successful, and that is understanding that you can trademark a series. So you might be thinking like, Jenny, what do you mean that you can't trademark a book? Harry Potter's trademarked. Harry Potter is a series, right? There's another type of, like, if you're teaching a method of the way something works, that can be trademarked, and a good example of that is the bullet journal. Do not use bullet journal in your title or your subtitle, because you are subject to infringing on the trademark, even though you cannot trademark a title. I know, it's crazy, right? It's interesting to think about. So my advice to you is, when you go to the US a trademark site, you can search what is under trademark, and the class, there's all these goods and services, and they have different classes. Class 16 is like journals and notebooks. So the guy that started Bullet Journal, he trademarked that for all notebooks. There's some other things too. And so you don't want to use that anywhere. The only place you do want to use trademark terms is if you're running ads. You can run ads to the name Taylor Swift. You can run ads to the name Donald Trump if you want to. You can run ads to Bullet Journal, okay? But you cannot use it on forward-facing content, because it's protected, and Amazon also sees that as misleading content. Now, if you do use trademark terms, that is one way that your account will get terminated and not turned back on. So in previous videos, we've talked about suspensions and we've talked about terminations. When trademark is involved, they will uphold their decision to keep your account terminated, and they will tell you not to open another account. And now with the verification ID process, you're going to be randomly asked to upload a government ID. You do not want to be someone that has had their account terminated and you reopen something new, okay? There is a little bit of like controversy that Amazon also can see the IP, the address where you upload a book. Okay, so if you've ever had your account terminated, sometimes people will go and start an entire business account and start the agreement between Amazon and that new business, okay? Because that's a different entity. And they might even log in with a VPN to be able to have that privacy, okay? People have even opened accounts, this is totally off topic, opened accounts with wyomingagents.com to be able to have more privacy with their business, okay? But let's go back to trademark, because that's really what we're talking about here. So in a lot of circumstances, you can trademark a series to protect your book, okay? And when the title is used for a series of books, it can qualify for federal trademark registration. So when I published 125 journals in one niche, I tried to get them registered, but Evan, my attorney, was like, you actually cannot register these unless it's a cohesive brand that you're using in each of these books' titles. So I've been going down that research, because here's the tricky part. I'm not just like a full-time self-publisher. Self-publishing is one pillar of my business as a digital marketer, right? So before I learned about publishing, I was making money by helping people with course creation and marketing. And then when I started publishing, I started to see results, and it was really, really fun, and I didn't stop, right? You guys know that in college, I hand Amazon-bound books. I need to show those to you sometime. So I haven't really invested a ton to trademark a series. I've only copyrighted a title, but I am looking into trademarking a series, and I have my name picked out, and I still have to go through the application process. I could send it to the Federal Trademark Registration and it could still get rejected. They could be like, nope, this is too common. So an example of that. So when you're thinking about blowing up a brand in a good way, think about something unique. Like, you cannot trademark coloring books for kids. It's just not going to work. It needs to be something unique. So I'm working on that with a particular series. And once I trademark it, I think I'll share it with you guys, because this is something I've been thinking about for a long time on my YouTube channel. I always want to share my niches with you guys. But the whole reason I started looking into trademark and copyright is because other KDP people were copying me too much for me to feel comfortable. It was like, oh wow, they stole all the keywords that I spent time looking for. They created covers that were so much like mine, and then it started to make it misleading to other customers. I even think that maybe a self-publisher reported my books so they could win in that category. I'm not really a conspiracy theorist. Maybe I should wear a tinfoil hat when I share those things. But anyway, so that really led me down the road of like trademarking. And so now the important thing is, when you're going to trademark, it needs to be unique. You can't just be like, these are Taylor Swift books. Like, Taylor Swift has already trademarked her name in almost every single class of goods and services. So it's not a good idea to do it. Okay. So I want you just to think about that, because if you had a book that sold really well and then you decided to take more control of distribution by getting copies made in China or Philippines or overseas, and then you uploaded them to Amazon, Amazon would require that they were trademarked as a brand for the brand registry. Okay. So I want you just to remember that. We got another question about, can you copyright a trademark of books? And you can copyright the cover. Now, you cannot trademark something unless it's actually being out in the marketplace. It can't just be like an idea. So you need to have something to submit to the Copyright Office. Okay. So some people ask, should you trademark a brand before selling? But you need to have something to be able to submit, like I said. So you don't really have to worry about that. Get something going, and then you can also start applying for trademark of that series. Some people ask what cannot be trademarked, and I had to write some of this down, which just so it's more clear. Descriptive words like very or beautifully, like that's right, it's too broad. Some names you cannot trademark. So a good example of this is Kylie Jenner of the Kardashians. She tried to trademark Kylie, and when a trademark application is submitted, other people can appeal it. And so a bunch of Kylies were like, no, you cannot trademark that. That's my name. Okay. And she lost multiple times. You can't trademark phrases or slogans. Those are protected in other ways. Okay. So like best ice cream. Can't trademark that. Red car. Okay. So just really think about that. But you can trademark a series, right? So I've trademarked a cover. It's going through the registration process right now. It's 150 covers. Okay. So let me see if I have any other questions. If you don't trademark your brand, then you don't have as much protection. So the best way to describe this is when we've talked about artificial intelligence and being able to protect that work, we have to register stuff to be able to go to litigation. So if I was the founder of bullet journals and other people were out there stealing bullet journals, I couldn't take anybody to court to litigate until my trademark was approved to prove that I am the owner of it. Does that make sense? So there is a lot of power in that. And when you do trademark something, you have the ability to license stuff later. So it can be really, really powerful. Okay. So the other thing that you can trademark is like your logos. And you guys know I'm not an attorney. I'm not an expert. I've just worked with an attorney, and I have actually really loved learning about these laws. You guys know I was raised by a politician, so I have like carried bills that turn into laws. I've worked with lobbyists, and I have done all that stuff at the Utah State Capitol Hill. So those are just things to remember. If you are looking to seriously copyright, there is like a copyright protection and registration where it's called the 90-day rule, and it makes it you're able to register copyright within 90 days of publication of a work. Now remember, in 1923 the Copyright Office opened in the United States, and it said anyone that takes like a pen to a paper or creates an idea owns intellectual property of that. So you still have some protection even if you're not going through the proper like legal channels to register something in the process. Okay. And so it's just important to remember, like, if you do have a brand on Amazon that's doing really well and it is unique enough, you might think about trademarking the brand name of it, because you could protect it and you want to make sure that you're not infringing on anybody else's brand, right? I think that's something that we don't cover enough. And I think it's something that it can get kind of a little bit messy. There was somebody that asked, like, what's the difference between trademark and copyright? And trademark essentially protects business symbols or slogans. So if that's bullet journal, it's kind of a slogan. And copyright protects unique creations, products, artwork like covers. And you need to decide, when you are wanting to protect a brand that's selling really well, how you want to go about it. Now, I would tell you, you need to speak to an attorney. I'm not an attorney. I'm going to say that a million times. But you want to have something profitable before you go and do more trademarking and publishing. You can go to the Trademark Electronic Search System. It stands for TESS, to search for things. And I hope these questions help you kind of think about how you want to plan a brand on Amazon KDP. Go forth and publish. Love you guys lots. And please subscribe so you don't miss more of these in the weeds. We're so deep, we're so niche on this channel. We talk about lots of publishing because I've done it 500 times. Love you guys. Peace out.